Hey, so I just filmed I guess like an intense little video, and then Queen Cup is finally back on YouTube. If you don't know who Queen Cup is, I mean, check her out. She's Angel Gang, a great person. Um, and her reading had 888 under it. And I was like, aw, so I was watching a little bit of that. But I always find I'm never usually meant to watch Queen Cup's readings the whole way through. I'm just meant to like check in and see her being happy, and then I go about my life. And it got me, and I was shuffling all of my decks just to shuffle them. And this one, which I haven't used in a very long time, the Ancestral, was really speaking. So I was like, you know what? Let me do a little reading and see what comes out, especially following what you may have just seen, which is the video where I was talking about, are we all human? If you saw that video, this might be connected to that, this may not. This could be something different, but I just felt like there was a message or some messages to come through that seemed to be a little bit more global. This feels like more of a collective reading, and so I wanted to bring that forward. So yeah, Spirit, what's going on? The first card that we had coming out was the Ace of Cups. Like, that's just what I mean. Like, the cards were flying out with this one, which I always really appreciate because I don't feel super comfortable just picking the cards out the deck. I prefer when Spirit makes the cards come out themselves. So, yeah, with this deck, the cards were really coming out, which made me happy. So we've got 3 cards on the ground already. I'm gonna stop shuffling in just a minute. I just want to see anything else. The sky is full of clouds. It's a cloudy day. Okay, that's it. So back of the deck, we have the 9 of Cups reversed and the 7 of Pentacles. I'm trying to remember the order in which these fell out. I think I remember. So it was the Ace of Cups first. Then we had the 10 of Cups. Queen's Cup video had the 10 of Cups out. We have the 4 of Swords and we have the 5 of Cups. Then we have the 10 of Pentacles reversed and the High Priestess, and the Page of Swords. And then I told you the 9 of Cups at the back of the deck. So let's look at what's going on here. And that's the 9 of Pentacles right behind. So let's look at what's going on here. Trying to organize the cards so that I can see them all. I don't have a huge desk, so I'm trying to make it work. Let's see. Got a lot of reversals, but this deck had a lot of reversals in it, so we'll see how serious that is. The first thing that I was looking at with the Ace of Cups and what I was seeing was the shell. You know how the shell has that universal symbol that's seen as like the cycle of life? That's what I was seeing. Whenever you look at this, don't you just see AirPods or like earphones? That is always what I see. Looking at that. But I'm looking at this Ace of Cups, and what I'm really thinking about is generations. I'm thinking about the different generations and how throughout time, and throughout time on this planet, as life goes on, and as the generations shift and change, what developments come with those? And what advancements end up being like direct seeds of the dreams of our ancestors? You know, like, who knows who back in the day had a vision for something like being able to plug something into your ear and listen to music more individually, more specifically. Which of our ancestors had that kind of dream? That was their treasure. And now today, that's something that's so accessible that everybody has. Or like the wheel, you know? This wheel symbol was used to drive carts forward, and when we came up with the wheel, life changed for human beings on this planet. But the wheel is similar to this, like the steering thing that you use on ships, and that's another way that we are able to move through not just across land, but across water now. And who had that vision? Which of our ancestors had that vision a long time ago? And now, it's so accessible. And you see that shit in the background. It just makes me think about carrying the face of your ancestors, especially in terms of which of your dreams are being realized. It's almost like as more of your dreams are being realized, the more the face of your ancestors begins to appear through you, And it's like this ascension process, but it's also like this moving beyond process. It's almost like as these dreams come to realization, as these visions come to realization, not just as an individual, but for us all on this planet, as these dreams that are dreams that apply to us all. They're not just dreams about me and my family personally getting financial abundance and, me personally becoming a star. It's not like that. These are dreams that affect everyone, that can heal and service everyone. That's why I think we have the tens here, the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles. As these dreams begin to come to fruition, how are our ancestors showing up in our bodies, showing up on our face, and moving beyond us, because it's like, it's through us, it's through our physical form that our ancestors are able to come out of the body, come out of the physical, and move back into the spiritual realm, especially for the ancestors who play a big role in your incarnation. When you are able to make some of those dreams come to reality, when you are able to face certain patterns, when you are able to conquer certain mountains and reach new heights and overcome, those ancestors show up in you so strongly, physically, almost just to say goodbye, almost just to give you that last kiss. They come from deep within and they move out into the world because they have now been able to truly become integrated with this planet. Ancestors, they take on so much by just going deep within us and not really getting to return to the earth as you should when you pass away. It's always that from dust back to dust. But our ancestors, many of our ancestors go deep within us. And we are not just of the earth, we are also of the spirit. And as an ancestor, you're not just of the spirit realm, you're an earth being. And part of that gift is also getting to be able to return back to the land. But our ancestors refrain from doing that while we are here so that they can help us realize ourselves, realize certain dreams for our family, realize certain dreams for this earth. And as those things begin to come to fruition, as we begin to have certain discoveries of self, certain healing around self that radiates out into the earth, that serves and nurtures beyond us, those ancestors get to come out of the depths of our body and return back to the earth. And that's a very beautiful process. And I think that's what I was seeing with this, with like the shell on the face and the buried treasure and all these little symbols that I feel like represent human advancement and the dreams of people who came a long time ago. I wonder if right now we are experiencing a lot of ancestors being able, and this is something that's been coming up for honestly a few years now. I feel like I was talking about this a couple of years ago. This journey of ancestors moving through us, and there being a lot of ancestors of a long time ago that are moving on, that are finally being released because of certain things that are being accomplished by us all as human beings, certain levels of healing that are being accomplished. So I think that that's something to be very proud of. Here we have the 10 of Cups. This 10 of Cups is always so interesting to me. I don't always completely understand it. And we have the Fool here. That's the symbol that's on the Fool as well. I can't remember whose name. There's a god there, an Orisha. I just can't remember their name. I'll think about it. Well, maybe I'll think about it. I think, this is interesting. Okay. So I was just talking about a lot of ancestors moving beyond, right? It's hot. It's getting hot. I might take this off. I'm wearing an Alaska t-shirt. Anyways, you see that light coming into the earth? You know what I'm seeing here? What I'm seeing is the surge of new life coming forward. Hold on. As ancestors make their way out back into the land and return and leave that spirit form and truly truly are transmuted to the point where that ancestor is not existing really anymore, I see many new souls being crafted and being prepared to come down to earth. And I see this happening as a new beginning that is occurring right now for earth. I feel like there is a light being shown down on earth, and there is a spiritual eye being placed right now on the children, on the babies that are coming forward into this planet right now. And I think that they are being given a consciousness that is going to be very restorative and healing for many of our family lines, for many of our ancestries. It seems like there are a lot of children, fresh souls, being prepared with blank slates so that they can truly begin to start new storylines, new timelines in our personal lives, in our families' lives, and in the life of Earth. You know, there's been a lot of repeating stories for this planet over the past few centuries. There's been a lot of repeating truths, things that have just become part of what life on Earth is about. But as these ancestors are able to move on because of the healing that we're doing, there's certain stories that no longer need to be the story that we tell. They no longer need to be the story that is our story. As that happens, there's room for a new story to come to fruition. And it's funny because I wrote a book. I guess I kind of did write a book called The Girl for Whom Books Fell at Her Feet. I think it's I put it on streaming platforms. Maybe I'll try and link it in the bio, but it's about telling a new story. It's kind of about this. Yeah, and I wrote that a long time ago. So like I'm saying, I think that this is something that's been happening for a while. But I think that there are new souls being prepared to come down to this planet. And I think that the goddesses could have a hand in this work that is being done right now. And I feel like the souls that are coming down here are coming with new stories, with fresh ideas, which is also exciting because new stories means new dreams. You know, a lot of us have the same dreams. A lot of us, our dreams are to not have to stress about money, to be able to have a roof over our head and a home that we feel safe within, to be able to balance our relationship with the earth and being one with the earth, with also the advancements that we have access to, with being able to have love. You know, a lot of us have these same core dreams, these same core desires, and they're things that have circulated around the earth for a very long time. But as we begin to experience certain amounts of fulfillment around those dreams, because of the healing that we've done, because of the new pinnacles that we've reached, some of those things will be able to be checked off as like things that you don't have to dream about anymore, but just become inherent, just become natural, just become part of the earth. Because that's another thing. As ancestors move on from that position of being an ancestor and catering to your descendants, those dreams that once were so ethereal and once were things that you constantly had to be trying to manifest, as our ancestors become one with the land again, those dreams become one with the land. And so they become inherent and natural to the earth, which is such a blessing. That's why you want your ancestors to move on. You don't want to have to keep your ancestors around forever, because one of the greatest gifts of being an ancestor is that all the dreams that you've carried within your body that service the earth, when you are able to move on from your ancestral line and become, again, reintegrated with the earth, you are able to plant those dreams into the earth so that they just become part of what being on earth is about. And it's no longer something that your ancestors, that your descendants and that your family has to work so hard to pull down from the spiritual realms and manifest on this planet. It's able to just be something that grows here naturally. And I think that we are going to be having an influx of love and of stability in your home life, and potentially like stability in your sense of comfort and connection with self, because of the dreams that these ancestors had. You know, all of those ancient dreams are going to become just natural things that are part of the earth. And I think that we're going to see that showing up in the way that we have an easier time accessing these certain feelings, these certain experiences. And with that creates room for new dreams to manifest. So we've got all of these new souls coming in, and I believe these souls are coming in with new storylines, new timelines, new visions for us to begin to pull down from the spiritual realms, instead of having to focus on these same dreams that we've had for a very long time. So then we have the Four of Swords reversed and the Five of Cups reversed. I honestly see this as moving out of a position of like lack and survival. And I think that that's exactly what this is. It's all connected back to these ancestors. What has the dream always been for most of our ancestors? To move us out of the wild, to make it so that you don't always have to be fighting for your life. And instead you get to envision new life. You get to create, you get to imagine, you get to dream. I think that's what the Four of Swords and the Five of Cups is talking about. Moving out of that position of constantly being in a place of survival, of constantly being in a place of trying to figure out how you can sustain, how you can make it, how your family can survive and go on and live a good life. Moving beyond that space of lack, or just constantly having to work for your life, into a new space that is more intuitive, that is more playful, that is more dream-based, that is more creative, that is more intelligent in terms of what you get to focus your energy and your manifestations on, instead of just trying to manifest survival, which is what most of us are spending our time doing. And it's funny because, like I said, your ancestors are showing up on your face. I think that when I'm saying that, what I'm saying is that as you're like, it's, you know how right before you reach the next level, it's the hardest thing ever. You're the most exhausted. You're in the worst state. What's happening on this planet right now? Recessions, wars, violence, exhaustion, debt. People are struggling. People are struggling financially. People are struggling to have home life. There's homelessness. People are struggling to feed themselves. People are struggling to be healthy. These are all the struggles that our ancestors have been fighting to overcome for a very, very long time. The fact that our ancestors are showing up on our face, those struggles are showing up on your face only to move beyond them. It's funny because at the same time that I'm saying that our ancestors are showing up on our face, what's happening right now on this planet as well? There's a huge movement and revolution around the physical form when it comes to body modification, right? And plastic surgery. A lot of people are getting rid of their indigenous features. A lot of people are reshaping their face to fit this ideal, to capture this dream, to capture this desire that soothes that part of ourselves that wants to be taken care of, nurtured, nourished, and not constantly in survival. A lot of us look at our indigenous features and we see survival. We see our ancestors and it's traumatizing. And many people are running away from that face, are running away from that. And while I have a lot of problems with plastic surgery and body modification and that whole thing because of the way that I feel it takes advantage of people's mental health, in this case, you can see the way that translates to the idea that we are moving beyond a certain stage of existence, a certain group of ancestors that had to carry an amount of weight that was quite traumatizing. You know, a lot of our ancestors had to sacrifice a lot and did not get a whole lot out of life. A large group of our ancestors came down to this planet, lived a full life that was filled with a lot of work, a lot of labor, a lot of sacrifice, and not a whole lot of payback. And then they went on to ancestral experiences where they also suffered, because as they were becoming ancestors, their people were being taught that ancestors don't exist, that there's no way to connect with your people. They are being taught that you don't know where you're from. So our ancestors have had to go through a lot, both in their incarnating experiences and in their ancestral experiences. But I believe that there is a shift coming in, which is why a lot of new souls are being prepared to come down to this planet with a blank slate, with nothing, with no expectations, with just dreams to be garnered and to be channeled simply out of spirit, simply out of desire, simply out of instinct and nature. And I believe that those souls, the dreams that they will be channeling, are going to be in response to what they see on earth, and what whoever's spiritual eye is on earth right now, what that vision is being reflected is what those souls will begin to take on, and the dreams they will begin to manifest, and the dreams that they will be, storylines they will begin to tell. So yeah, I think we're moving out of this stage of survival that we have been in for a very long time. We have the High Priestess upright and the 10 of Pentacles reversed. I really, really, really do see the formation of a new expression of self happening here, and a lot of life moving beyond. I think that one of the most precious and beautiful things about the next generation of babies that are coming onto this planet is I think that ancestral karma is going to be something that is not as big of an issue as it is right now. A lot of us, our karma is inherited through our ancestry, through our bloodline. It's whatever happened to our mother. It's whatever happened to our father, to our grandmother, our grandfather, our great-grandparents, our aunts, our uncles. Our karma and our trauma is inherited. It's epigenetics. I think that one of the blessings that's being bestowed on the earth right now is that the karma that you have and the trauma that you have is not coming from your family. I think that as these ancestors are able to move on, that kind of pain is also moving on. That kind of weight is also moving on. And that is a huge weight to be lifted off of our backs, because it's very hard to work through. Because one, those people aren't here anymore in the physical realm, so they can't provide you with all the answers. The people who were part of their storylines of trauma, you don't have connections to. It's very hard to heal ancestral family blood wounds. You know, they're complicated. They're mixed in with the earth, they're mixed in with history, they're mixed in with the systems that we had, with people who we don't know, with the land, with experiences that, you know, that are beyond you because you weren't alive during that time. So to have that no longer be an issue that I think is being removed, I think that's a huge weight. I also think the reason why this is happening is because this next generation of life on earth, these next set of human beings and souls that are coming onto this earth, their focus is the spiritual realm, where they're obviously still going to be having experiences, experiencing karma, experiencing all of these things. But I believe, especially with the High Priestess being upright, what they will know is affecting them, and what they will be confronting are things that are more of the spiritual realm. So instead of things always being about a past life that you had here, or about your family, or about something like that, it's something that is cosmic. That is incredible, because the amount of intelligence and wisdom that we're going to now have access to, because you have to. When you have trauma, you have information. So if you have cosmic trauma, you have cosmic information. And even though it's trauma, it still is, and it's still answers that we haven't had before, because so much of our attention and energy was based on and circulated around what was only just happening down here on this planet, or was only happening in the incarnating experiences. We're now able to get into what's happening to our soul. What's happening in terms of soul trauma, in terms of cosmic trauma, which is something we don't know a lot about. So it's complicated to speak about trauma and karma. And karma is not a bad thing. Karma just is what it is. And trauma kind of is what it is. Being born is traumatic, you know. A lot of things are traumatic. Just depends on where it lies in the spectrum. But talking about these in such an exciting way is kind of funny to me, because it's like, you know, it's not usually something that you speak about happily, but I see this as a positive thing because of what you no longer have to deal with. And because that means we're getting to a new level. You know, there's certain problems that you just don't have anymore. And yeah, you have new problems, but you always have problems, you know? That's what it is. You live in the balance of it all. But there is something very beautiful about being able to now focus on a different aspect of existence. And it will ultimately bring you closer to your family, because what a lot of us have been dealing with, and we're seeing it really prominently right now. People are cutting off their families. People are disconnected from their families, and they have their chosen family. But with your blood family, there's a lot of problems. And that's because of the amount of trauma that we've all had to deal with. And then you're in such close quarters with people who know your pain and know your suffering, and maybe you're not talking about it because maybe you're not even in a family where that's something you can talk about, or you have the language for that, or it's just too hard, or maybe you're disconnected from your family. There's been a lot of trauma to the family. And so to have that to no longer be an issue, to be able to be put into a position where you can now reconnect with your family, and now begin to confront what's happening on a cosmic level, and then also begin to engage in interactions with your cosmic heritage, that is exciting to me. That is super exciting to me. So that is something that I think that we should really be looking forward to. With the Page of Swords here kind of ending it off, I think that there is definitely a new story that is being written right now on Earth, and I think that it is going to come into fruition through the children that come into existence on this planet, and through the dreams and desires that they begin to have, through the problems that they have. We're going to gain a lot of answers. I think focusing on the children, looking at what's happening to children, even looking at what's happening to women who choose to have children, or to people who choose to have families, what's going on with them and their evolution, can give us a lot of answers as to what's coming up and what's happening next in the spiritual realm, and where we're heading as a species in terms of evolution and as a planet. And I think it's really, really exciting. I definitely think a new story is being written, and I think that there's a purity happening here, and I think it's a spiritual story where the spiritual realm is a bigger part of the conversation, and that includes accountability for the spiritual realm. We have the Nine of Cups here at the back of the deck, reversed. I just think that our dreams and our desires are changing, and our ideas around fulfillment are changing. And like I said, I think that's because of what's happening with our ancestors, and I think that this is a beautiful journey to be on. The winds of change are bright, and they're here, and I think that our focus is going to be shifting, and I think that that's just nature. I think that that's the evolution of things, with the spiral coming up with the face of the ancestors and that universal symbol of life. I think that we're just entering into a new era and a new age in our evolution, and humans themselves might actually be going through a big evolution right now, not just spiritually, but physically, biologically. When was the last time we had like a big evolution? I think we're going to have one right now because it's needed. You evolve when you need to evolve. And I think right now humans need to evolve, and so we are going to. And that might begin to show up in our children, in our descendants. So that's something to think about if you want children, thinking about what that evolution might look like and how you can prepare yourself to begin to deal with a different kind of human being, one that doesn't have all the same makeup that you had, that has different experiences, that has maybe different trauma, how to prepare yourself for that, how to be excited for that, talk to your body around about that, and talk to your spiritual team about that, and talk to your family about that, and begin to reconnect with family if you've disconnected from them, if you've had to cut them off, and if it's not something that is irreparable, maybe make the efforts to begin to reconnect. I don't think that cutting everybody off is the answer, and I don't know everybody's story, but I think that there's an opportunity for reconnection, and I think that we should take it, because I think that there's a lot of healing happening around our family bonds right now, because we're no longer having to deal with the weight of trauma being what separates us from each other. We're going to be looking up and looking at a different source, a more cosmic source, and being able to hold accountability to a more cosmic power, rather than it being so earth-based, which is such a relief for the earth, such a relief for human beings, such a relief for the family, such a relief for women, because women have been being blamed for so long. So this is exciting, and I think that this might also be a gift that is being bestowed upon us by the goddesses. So I think that's it. Should I pull a card? Maybe from the Healing Waters deck. It's funny, I only have 6%, so that's why I'm kind of trying to hurry right now on my computer. Is there anything... This deck sometimes doesn't... oh! I was going to say sometimes it doesn't... Whoa! Have cards come out, but I guess I was wrong. Okay. Back of the deck. Selkie. Come out of hiding. Embrace who you really are. That story is a really interesting story if you're interested in it. Let it rain. Inevitability. Trust. Allowing what is. And it's been rainy these past few days. This is inevitable. Like I said, evolution, the spiral of life, the cycles of life. What happens is always meant to happen. Okay. I'm just going to read off the cards that we have and go from there. So we have, interesting. Okay, so we have gentle force, consistency, patience, the long game. That makes sense when we're talking about children, ancestry, new stories, new generations. That's the long game. With this new generation of life, we're going to experience evolution. Evolution takes a while to really set in and to feel the effects of that. But if we are the generation on Earth that transitions, that helps us transition into the new Earth, perhaps we're not actually going to be able to experience the new Earth, but we are the bridge collective, then we have to be very patient, because we are the ones that raise up the kids that will be there for that new experience of life. And that requires a lot of sacrifice too. We are a part of the ancestors that sacrifice and that are, in some sense, a martyr to the time that we came in on this earth. And it is what it is. But whatever you can do with that, and however you can find healing and joy through that process, find it and take it. Immerse yourself. Training, learning, new hobbies, and passions. So as new things come into focus, as new ideas of life come into focus, because you're also, just as much as you are channeling your ancestors, you are also channeling your descendants. And your descendants are giving you whispers of what's going to be important to them. Begin to listen to that. Begin to listen to the new things that come into focus for you, what you begin to want to put your energy towards, what begins to excite you. Focus on that and give time and space for that, because you don't know what that is connected to and how that relates to the future for your ancestral line. Into the unknown, underworld, depth, courage, facing your fears. I see a lot of healing coming in around that. It's also just scary to evolve. I'm sure it was scary for the humans that started to show up with thumbs, with opposable thumbs, or like with the extra finger, I don't know which side it was, when everybody else had only had 4 fingers, or like had 6 fingers, and and it was scary. Whenever you evolve, it's scary. But you're evolving for a reason. But before you evolve, you experience all of your past, because all of your past, it has to come through you. There's no other way for it to get out. So as all of that begins to show up and come out through you, and there might be a lot around your throat, around how you're speaking, around what you say, around what you express, around how you present yourself and how you connect with others, just take it all in. And don't be afraid to have everything come up, because it's coming up so it can come out. Let it come out. Follow the stream. Dedication, trust, future rivers and oceans. We're very future focused right now. And a lot of what you do is going to have an effect on who you are and who your ancestors, who your descendants are, what spaces they are able to become a part of and immerse themselves within. So dream big and give yourself that space and clear out what needs to be cleared out and talk about what needs to be spoken about and connect with who needs to be connected with. Go where you need to go. Just don't limit yourself, because we're building the bridge. We're building the path. We are still a generation of labor. We're not in the life yet that is laborless. We are still that generation of labor and work and sacrifice. but it doesn't have to be wholly traumatic, and it doesn't have to mean that your whole life is based around things that don't serve you and don't give anything back to you. You know, we're building a new way to transition. We're building a new way to evolve. We're even changing our ideas around what evolution, labor, transition, transformation looks like. So however you can transform in a way that is still loving towards you, do it that way. Because you're building the codes for what it looks like to build a bridge, to be a part of a collective that is the bridge. You know, there will be another cycle of Earth where there's another collective that mirrors ours, that is in our position. And instead of having to do it the way that maybe our ancestors had to do it, where it was just full of pain and full of strife and full of loss without a whole lot being reciprocated, we can be the collective, the bridge collective, where you still get to see the future and even experience some of that beauty in your current reality, where your sacrifices are actually things that you just needed to get rid of anyway, and they're weights off of your back. You know, everything, the perspective can be shifted around what it looks like to be the transformation collective, the bridge collective. So let's do that. And again, we have that cycle of life, that spiral coming back into prominence. This is all a part of the plan. And we're right in alignment with what was always going to be, inevitable. Metamorphosis, embrace transformation. Things are different now. Inevitability, let it rain. Allowing what is, trust. This is inevitable, and it's a beautiful thing. So, yeah, that is the reading for today, and check out the video that I just posted, or I should have just posted, around Are We All Human? Let me know what you think, and I hope you have a great start to the week, and yeah, bye.